Everyone. This is the second part, or rather, the video after I came back from Wisconsin to check on the car we are looking at right now. This is a 1989 Seville STS. I made it. This is a long story, but I'm going to make it short, and to spare you all of the heartache and money and time I invested in this little adventure. All right, I'm going to save you all of that. So I went up to Wisconsin. It's been over a week ago now. Took me a while to get my thoughts together and really think about what I wanted to say about this little misadventure. Okay. When I'm looking at cars online, I try to make contact with the seller. Sometime I'm successful, sometime I'm not. Oh, by the way, forgive my demeanor, but I haven't had time to go and trim my beard. I didn't want to find another reason not to make this video or delay making this video. So I'm looking a little rough. I know. Okay. Yes. So I try to make contact with the seller, see exactly, try to find out the condition of the car, because I say this all the time. Well, I don't say this part, but you've heard the saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Maybe that's true, but I like to say that a picture can also lie to you. Okay. And these pictures we're looking at here, I know they're not the best in the world, but these pictures lied to me. And I'll come back to that in a moment. So yes, I try to establish contact, talk to the seller, try to get that, I like to call it a warm, fuzzy feeling. You talk to someone, try to get a feeling for them and what their intentions are, and try to get a feel for them. You know what I'm trying to say. So I talked with this seller off and on for a period of 2 months about this car. The gentleman is in his 80s. He had worked with Cadillac back in the day, and he knew the history of the car. The car, I believe he said it came from California. He's in Wisconsin, and he's had the car for about 10 years. So, I like I like talking with someone who knows some of the history of a vehicle. It gives you that, it makes you feel a little bit better about it because they know something about the car. So he was in the automobile industry for a while. He knew some of the history of the car. He told me that it had been in storage or inside. He told me they had not been out in any salted roads or any bad weather, storms, nothing like that. And this information was gathered, like I said, over a period of 2 months, talking from him from time to time. He was selling the car for a reasonably good price. Okay, I don't think it's here on the screen, but let me see. Okay, there it is. Okay, 87,000 miles and 89. Those are pretty good miles for this year, for this car here, the Seville. And that is a decent price for an STS in good condition. And I use the term good condition loosely. And again, we're going to get to that. All right, so I took this trip up to Wisconsin. Spare you the details of how I got there and all of that stuff. It took a long time to get there, a long time to get back. All right. All right, and now, my reasoning for making this trip. I did not want to buy this vehicle, have it transported down to Georgia, and then I find that there's something wrong with the vehicle that wasn't how can I say this, that I did not know about, or that the seller did not tell me about. I would really feel bad after spending that money and then possibly not being able to get it back. And by the way, he did want cash, so that would have been no way to get it back. So that's why I took the trip instead of having it brought to me. Now, before I'd made the trip, I did ask the seller to show me. Okay, he had one. I know you can't see this, but these are the only pictures I have. But right here, he had one picture of the engine, and there were no pictures of the bottom. I asked him to send me pictures of the bottom of the car. I wanted to get a good look at it for leaks, rust, anything like that. As a matter of fact, he said he had his grandson take the pictures here and he posted this online for him. And so, I asked him several times about pictures of the bottom of the car. He didn't send them. And okay, again, the gentleman is in his 80s. I was not going to push it, but I guess I did get that warm, fuzzy feeling from him after talking to him. And so, based on that, I said, okay, he's elderly. He knows something about the car. He was in the industry, so I'm going to forego the undercarriage pictures. I'll let that one slide. Again, I know it's not the best move in the world, but when you're a collector of anything, whatever it is, you go through great length. You do stupid stuff sometime. And yes, I'm going to check this one off as stupid stuff in my book. And so I made the trip. Got there, and okay, I'm not a mechanic. I like to make that clear to folks whenever I'm talking about cars. I'm not a mechanic. I don't claim to be. I don't try to be. Whenever I'm working on my car, I'm just using YouTube and using manuals and relying on my past vehicle maintenance experience to do work on the car. Sometimes it turns out right, sometimes it doesn't. All right. I did do vehicle maintenance in the Army for 20 years, so I might not know how to I might not know how to fix it, but I know what to look for, and I know when something is wrong. So anyway, okay, this is the part where that saying about a picture being worth 1,000 words, and my part about the picture can lie. All right, these pictures right here lied to me. It looks all pretty and shiny and everything. All right. But when I got there, first thing I did was I got down right here behind this car, looked underneath. I'm looking for leaks. I'm looking for rust or any other damage down here. Came around, and as I go around the car, I'm trying to remember some of the damage or problems I found. I came around to this side, got down on the ground again, looked underneath, came up to the front, got down under the hood area and looked underneath. I saw something, I can't remember, but I don't know if it was like a leak or like just built up grime under there. Can't remember, but there was something here. And there was something on this side. I wanted to take video, but I didn't know if he would have been comfortable with me taking the video, so I didn't do it. Okay, so all right, he opened up the hood. I looked under the hood. The engine looked nice. There was, oh man, what was it? Okay, the overflow tank for the radiator. Okay, the radiator fluid was green. It was great, but the fluid in the overflow tank was like a dark brown kind of color, and I'd never seen that. If somebody's seen that before, if there's a logical reason for it to be that way, please let me know, because I'd never seen that. So that raised a little red flag in my head. Let me see. Maybe I should have made this video a lot sooner after this trip, because I'm starting to forget stuff. Let me look down at these pictures. I just wish these pictures. Oh man, I lost my face. Where'd I go? Okay, there I am. Nobody wants to look at my face, but anyway, there I am. Okay, I looked under the hood. I did check the wipers. the wipers look kind of crappy. And I understand if you have an older car, but and it's, everything is not in top notch condition. I understand that. I accept that. But if you're trying to sell the car and you want a good bit of money for it, you should try to, upgrade or fix or repair or replace some part. Those wiper blades should have been replaced. They were not. All right. Let me see. I think at this point I'm under the hood, and I think he started it up. It sounded nice, and it started up okay. I wish, I had to, while I was on the road going here, I was in contact with him, and as I got close, I would let him know, yeah, I'm this far away, this far away. I understand why, and he wanted me to be in touch with him. And I understand that, if somebody's coming to your house, you want to be ready when they get there. So I understand that. But at the same time, I would love if I could have just gone there, you know, and just check the car and, from a cold start, just start it up and see what it sounds like. Because, I'm sure he had started up and, making sure everything was okay before I got there. So, all right, came around to the driver's side. As I'm going around, I'm looking at everything, and I found some problems here and there. There was a little scratch in the paint here. That's no problem. So, okay, I got in, I checked the controls. Let me see. This was a big red flag. I opened up the glove box. If you're familiar with this model car, you know that the glove box has a fuse box right here. There were a couple of wires, hot wired coming from underneath the circuit, not the circuits, but the fuses, and coming up and connected to, plugged into two fuses. And I asked him about it. He said he didn't know anything about it. Okay, red flag. Okay, I'm sitting in the driver's seat. I started. No, did he start it? I think he had turned it off. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm messing around with the controls, checking the lights, and I hit the left turn signal, right turn signal, high beams, and then I hit the four-way. It's a push button for the four-way, but it doesn't. They don't come on. So I tried a couple times, and then I think he was sitting in the passenger seat at this time. I think he said you have to push it in and hold it. Something, some odd stuff, some crazy stuff, like it shouldn't have to be that way, but I did what he said, and then they worked for a second, then they stopped working. Okay, another red flag. Okay. I look around the car, headliner's nice, not a bunch of wear and tear. Everything, it's got that, well, you can see the pictures, well, down here. Just beautiful, that brown leather everywhere. Look nice. But looks can only get you so far. Okay. I get out and I come. Okay, let me try to find it. All right, these pictures are not big enough. To hell with it. But there was some molding over here. Right behind the rear door, a piece of molding, body molding was missing. Okay, again, no big deal. That'd be a few dollars on eBay. I could probably get that thing, no problem. But each little thing adds up. Let me see. Come around and okay, he opened up the trunk. Looked in the trunk. Looked around. I think I asked him about the spare. He said, yeah, it had the little donut spare. I can't remember. And I raised up the carpet in the trunk. There was, I think, what was it? Something that just didn't. It wasn't like musty or moldy smelling. It wasn't like that, but there was like some evidence of, I guess, moisture damage. It just looked kind of moist, kind of like a little, I guess, kind of moldy looking, but without the smell. And I asked him if it had been in any, storms or floods or anything. He said no. And as a matter of fact, now that I'm thinking, it was a little bit rusty back there. He said that came from being shut inside of a storage unit for a long time. And okay, that to me, that's another red flag. Maybe that's true. Maybe it was in storage, but that's a red flag to me. That that shouldn't have been there. Again, okay, the elderly gentleman, he can't do all this stuff, but at the same time, you're trying to sell something like this. It's not cheap. So, put a little money into it. Have someone come over and, try to clean the car up a little bit. All right. So we looked in the trunk. I'm like, okay, 3 red flags. And he asked me if I wanted to road test it. I said, okay, fine. So I get in. He asked me if I wanted him to go with me, and of course, if I say no, he's gonna feel like he doesn't know me, I don't know him. Just to make him feel comfortable, I said yes, of course, because if I said no, then that would have probably created some anxiety in him, and I didn't want to do that to this gentleman. All right, so we get in, and I'm looking over the controls because I have a 91 Seville, but I haven't driven it in years, and I just want to make sure I was still familiar with the controls. Did not want to get on the road and forget how to operate something. So get in there, uh, put it in reverse, and there was like a kind of a bump, a jump, a clunk, or whatever you want to call it when I shifted to reverse. And I can't remember his explanation, but he had an explanation or reason why it was making that noise. Okay. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's just cold. Maybe the transmission is cold or something, maybe. Um, so I tried again, put it in back in park, then back to reverse. And I sat there. I put it back in park because it made that noise again. And again, he's talking to me about it, explaining why it's like that. And he asked me, I'm trying to consider and figure out if I want to take it on the road now. But he was kind of pushing for the road test, so I said, okay, we'll do it. So I put it in reverse again. That was the clunk, and I backed out a little bit, and let me see. All right, I'm gonna have a brief interruption in just a moment, but I backed out the driveway a little bit. All right, I'm back. Had to take a quick pause there. So I backed out just a little bit in his driveway, and I could hear like some rattling, shaking coming from back here somewhere. I wasn't sure where it was coming from, but it was back here. And okay, we sit in the driveway, and so I put it in park again, and I sat there and I shifted it from park to reverse drive, park, reverse drive a couple of times, trying to figure out where this noise was coming from in the rear, trying to figure out why it was making that clunk sound. And I thought about it. I thought about all the miles I had spent to get to this car. Thought about all the time and money that it took me to get there. And my intention was to go get this car, drive it home, and I couldn't do it. And so at this point, I told him I would not feel comfortable buying this car or driving this car. And so I drove it back into the garage, and that was it. And so I had to leave Wisconsin and come back home without it. Now, maybe well, I guess that's it. There's nothing else to say. You can, well, you know, one last thing, and I'm going to end this video. I I don't sell cars. I don't deal with really expensive items when I do sell on eBay. You know, but even if I'm selling something for $5 on eBay, right here, just look at this. There's nothing. Everything is positive right here. There's nothing bad. When I list something on eBay, I put the good and the bad. If there's a tear or something wrong with the item I'm selling, I'm going to let the buyer know up front. I don't want to sell something to someone and then they get it and it's not as described, because that makes me look bad. So even though I know that by pointing out these problems that the item may not sell, but I'd rather have it not sell than just have someone buy it, and then that could cause a whole lot of problems. All right, so it would have been better for me and any other potential buyer, and it would have been better for this seller if he had listed those problems. And okay, maybe he won't get what he's asking for it, but adjust the price accordingly or be willing to deal. But in this case, I wasn't even going to offer a lower price, because it would have been too much money to fix the problems, because that clunking noise, whatever, probably the transmission. Again, I'm no mechanic, but I relied on my maintenance experience, you know, and I determined that it would have been an expensive problem to fix. All right, that's it for this story, folks. Again, this didn't turn out the way I expected, but you know, I guess that's life. It doesn't always go the way we want it to or expect it to. And I haven't given up on my search for another car. And at the same time, I'm still working on Gina, trying to get that fixed. That's been a long process. And well, I'll save that for another video. So thanks for watching this video. And I hope someone can get something from this. And all right, thanks for watching. Bye.